AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show, close, but no cigar.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There we go.
Yes. You guys, it's the Bar Rescue After Show, and I'm not alone, so don't tune out. Nicole Brajer is here.
What's up,
10
guys?
years of bartending experience, okay?
It's embarrassing.
So, yeah, why is it embarrassing?
Put it this way. I talked to like a 38-year-old the other day, and she was like, I have 10 years experience. I'm like, I'm going to be 28.
Yeah, but you should
and
be,
I've got 28.
but you should be proud of that.
I guess I'm proud.
That since you were 18.
Since I'm 18.
Yeah, but you love the business, though.
It's got its ups and downs, just like the entertainment world.
Well, I would listen. There's more opportunities in what you're doing than I think in what we do.
There's more opportunities because you meet people and you engage and you keep them coming back if you're a good salesman and you have that great technique.
Which you are.
I would definitely say I'm pretty good at that.
All right.
But you have to be believable. You know, you have to be yourself behind the bar.
You have to be your best self.
Your best
Isn't that
self.
what the millennials say? By the way, this little millennial who didn't show up last week, right? And obviously I had to power through without you, which...
And you brought it up on the Tomorrow Show. You called me out.
I
watched you.
I called you on the Tomorrow Show. I called you on...
You called me out.
But I have to say, before I called her out, she wrote very long emails to everyone here on staff, and she sent pizza to the whole staff too, which
Yes.
I thought was very classy.
Thank you.
And very...
It wasn't the classiest of pizza. It was Domino's.
It doesn't matter. No, but listen, it was a
you.
non-millennial thing to do. You not only took responsibility, you leaned in even further. I think Jon Taffer would forgive you.
He would.
For that, yes.
He's a very
absolutely.
forgiving person.
He is.
So I think that he would have gave me 2 thumbs up for that one.
So did you like last week's episode?
I did. Last week was good. I thought it was a good opener.
Okay, good opener.
And there was yelling, you know, the kind of true to Bar Rescue's
I don't know if
format.
he knows how to not yell at this point.
He didn't really yell this episode.
You know,
It
he
was-
yelled less.
Way less.
There was a couple of moments, but he yelled yes. Okay, so it's nice because you do have the millennial mentality. So I like how the millennials view bartending, but also how the millennials view Bar Rescue. Are you noticing a difference this season, these last 2 shows, from seasons past?
Definitely. I feel like he's more of a mentor now. Maybe it's because of the book and his reputation.
Interesting.
He's been around for so long. He's almost like a therapist,
Right.
as well as, you know, the big guy.
And okay, you know what? And that's so astute because I feel like I couldn't agree more. And he doesn't mention the book when he talks to me about it, but
Right.
I think the Wonder Bars and the Pirates bars and those people, and Jon takes this so personally, like which is awesome. That's why the show's so great, because he's so all in to the point that this poor guy, I'm so scared the day he's gonna grab his arm, tip over, have a heart attack, because but he's so into it that he doesn't want to be dealing with those people who really don't deserve this makeover. They don't deserve him, and I get that. But they make such good TV.
Definitely.
I call them the wackadoodles. I love them. I want to see more of them, but I think Jon at his age and after 6 seasons is like, he's not said this to me, I'm guessing, so I don't want to misrepresent him, but I feel like he's like, no, I'm old, I'm tired, I've done this for a long time. I really just want to do it for people in need, in crisis, who really deserve my help.
100%. Because he's dealt with his fair share of wackadoodles, and we know
I love them all.
And we know that some of these bars, after they get renovated, don't last. And I feel like now in this season, he has to pick people that will hold true to what he flips.
And you're right, and that stinks too, because the civilian culture, which we just want to tear down everything. You're going to look at, okay, well, how many of these bars have succeeded? When in fact, it's staggering his statistics against the restaurant shows.
Right.
It's staggering the bars that have stayed successful. But at the same time, it's really hard to maintain that level of success when you're dealing with wackadoodles.
Right.
I mean, there's, or these people is just so dysfunctional.
What blows my mind too, in the last episode and this episode, you have people that are opening up bars and they literally are very honest and say, we have no experience. We have no idea what we're doing.
All the time.
We've opened this up and how do you do that? How do you not bring in someone? How do you, and I'm watching and they're all so short staffed. And then they go into their stress test. I'm like, I feel like half the reason they're failing is because there's 2 people behind the bar and 1 person in the kitchen. Any bar that I've worked at, times it by 2.
But here's the problem. And John told me this too. You're such a good bartender, and so you're only going to go to a really good bar. So a lot of these bars that aren't doing a lot of business, Nicole, they just basically need someone to stand there who can pour a beer, crack open a beer, and not steal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But even so, there are bars like that require limited experience, you have your couple of beers and your couple of cocktails. That should be easy for someone with no experience.
But I think some of these bars are so bad that no one's ordering that stuff.
It's true.
It's so bad. And so when you get someone who's good or has a great attitude or whatever, they're like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go make real money. Tonight, you guys, we're going to go over, of course, tonight's episode, Close But No Cigar. Later on in the show, we're going to do new bar rescue news and gossip, which I don't think I've done in 3 seasons, but our illustrious COO, Phil Svitek, has laid down the order that from now on our after shows will feature special segments, including news and gossip, which we'll do before predictions. And Nicole, you did find, I don't want to get into the news now, but you actually found a lot of bar rescue news.
Juicy stuff.
Juicy stuff.
Juicy stuff and good.
We like juicy stuff.
Exciting.
We like juicy stuff. So, and I wanted to ask you, what did you do where did you 10 bar this weekend? This is kind of interesting.
So it's festival season here in Southern California.
Holla, bitches!
That's right. Get your Coachella bods ready. They were not ready at this festival.
Okay.
Beyond Wonderland, it was in San Bernardino.
Beyond Wonderland.
Yes,
okay.
And they're affiliated with ADC and all those crazy...
Okay, for all the old people like me.
Electric Daisy Carnival, I think ADC is. But Beyond Wonderland, the theme this year was Alice in Wonderland. So everybody's dressed up. The number of cellulite butts I saw was insane. Girls with no tops and just nipple pasties, and everyone's dressed super crazy, and they're on a lot of drugs. So here's the interesting thing with drugs. And alcohol being served.
Well, I have found that in my experience, is that cut into alcohol sales.
It does.
And does it in yours?
100%. You would think that a festival with 30,000 people, how much would you think I would make?
Oh my God.
In tips and cash tips.
I mean, I will tell you, when we did Lollapalooza back in the day for food, I was in the food business for 10 years. I mean, 6 figures, cash.
Cash.
We'd walk out. Yeah.
Want to know what I walked out the first night in cash? Less
me.
than $100. Less than $100.
How many bartenders?
4
bartenders.
At the bar. And then they rotated me because they started to realize, this girl's really good and pulling all the cash for this bar. Let's put her at VIP. They put me at VIP at 12:30 a.m. and it started downpouring. So everybody left. Second day, I'm like, all right, I'll stay. I even had to get a motel. Spent $150 on the motel.
Oh, no.
And then I go back the second day and I'm moaning to the girl that referred me, why are you putting me at this crappy bar again? She's like, you're going to be a rotator, which means you get to keep your tips. But, the sad thing is with all these new laws that our credit card tips go into our check, they get cut, they get taxed. So you don't really make as much as you would hope. But at Coachella, I predict otherwise because I'm in VIP at Coachella. That's a different crowd.
And when is Coachella?
Coachella is April 12th.
All right, so you'll update us on...
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
It'll
All right,
be much
so
better.
we have a good one coming.
Yeah.
But it's nice. See, we have credibility here. So it's not, you're not just hearing from just crazy middle-aged guy who just happened to marry someone beautiful and famous. I actually have a bartender here with me that knows what they're doing.
Right.
Okay, so the name of the bar is the Havana Mix Cigar Emporium. It's owned by Rob Hunter and his son, Rob Jr. Interesting, these guys...
I liked them.
I liked them a lot. And one of them was a kick returner for the LA Raiders. And I was looking online to find out if it was father or son. I wasn't able to figure out who it was. I mean, the son certainly looks like an athlete.
Oh, yeah, he was
a
big guy. Maybe it was him.
I don't know. But there's been, this guy, the dad, very successful in it seemed like in bars and restaurants. I think he was part of a restaurant group that owned a bunch of places, but then also I think he has 2 other cigar bars and other places, which of course they didn't mention tonight.
Right.
But have you heard of a cigar bar that's for booze too? Like I know there's cigar lounges.
Lounges, bar. I mean, is it technically the same? If you look at the renovation, it kind of looks like a lounge now more so than it did as the bar, in my opinion. With the black
Which I think
and
is
the
smart.
leather
That's
and
but have you
tables.
ever seen a?
I have been to a cigar lounge in Long Island
that sells booze and okay. I was wondering if there was a contradiction between the smoke and booze.
Well, we don't really see that anymore.
Right.
Such a big thing back
And
in the day.
I feel like cigar smoke isn't as bad
as cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
I would say the same.
It's not.
I wonder if they told Rob Sr. to be having a cigar the
every
entire time.
single scene.
Because he was. Do you think that was a tip from production, or you think that's genuinely him?
I think. Once he got the spotlight, did you notice what a great showman he was?
He was pretty funny.
Right? He was very charismatic. And let's face it, the bones of this bar, other than the leaks and the things, it wasn't bad. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't.
No, it wasn't your typical wackadoodle, like we go in the kitchen and we didn't see that.
Right. Or the seats all torn apart, or things peeling off the wall, you know. So he is a really bright guy. You could tell. So I think he was smart enough anyway to have a cigar in every scene.
It was funny. It
because,
was good.
well, listen, it's branding, right?
Yes.
And he's the cigar guy. That's what he kind of fashions himself as.
Yeah.
But we see that, you know, we're $700,000 in debt. That's
a lot.
You wrote a lot of money.
I thought my student loans were a lot.
Yeah. No. How much you owe in student loans?
You want me to say it
sure.
like out loud?
100 and what?
35.
135.
Why do you think I'm a bartender for 10 years, Keven?
No, we have to figure that out. All right, we'll figure that out off air. There's ways to figure that out. That's just, that's the unfair thing about millennials. It's your parents, man.
Speaking of that, did you hear how he opened the show?
Yes. Oh my God. Why am I leaving this out? Thank you, Nicole. The opening was amazing with the father and son.
That's some millennial shit. And I was like, Keven, better write that one down.
Yeah, I did actually.
Look at him calling his son a millennial.
I work harder, not smarter, says the son. This is in the cold open of the show. And the father goes, see, that's this millennial shit. It is. It's like you guys have all these catchphrases.
I've never said that before.
Well, I'm just saying it's like, oh, I take full responsibility for that, or I want to be my best self, or namaste, and blah, blah. Shut up and work! Oh, my God. Just thank you for saying that. And I love the father saying, here we go with this millennial crap.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is a father and son. The mother's gone, and it was beautiful. Overall thoughts. I thought this was just a beautiful episode. I got choked up like, God damn it, they do to me every week, except in the wackadoodle episodes.
Right, and then you're like, you don't care.
Or the asshole episodes. Some of those assholes. I want to put my fist to the.
And the guy last week was a little much of it, like an asshole in the beginning, and then
at the beginning, and then he came right around.
I know we're not supposed to talk about last week, but really quick, like it was funny because I was watching that father, and I was like watching the episode with my man friend, and he was like, oh, you could tell he actually knows how to bartend. And I said, no, he doesn't. I'm calling him out the whole time. I'm like, he does not know. And you know me, I'm like 10 years experience. Then towards the middle and the end of the episode, the experts were like, oh, he knows what he's doing.
Good.
He's good. He's good. And I was like, oh,
he was just a drunk.
My tongue. Yeah.
He's just a drunk.
And I think that's maybe why I was like, nah, he doesn't know what he's doing. At the end, he did show. And you could tell somebody knows how to bartend by the way that they pour. So the way he was holding the bottle, see how I flip my...
You flip your hand up and you go up and then you come down.
That's why my man friend was like, oh, he knows how. I'm like, you can't just judge it by that one pour.
See,
and then sure enough, he's pouring 5 drinks in under a minute.
We've had Mia Mastrani. She's co-hosted with us. Lisa Marie Joyce is co-hosted with us. Like, I mean, John's experts are the best of the best, but so I always have to ask them. But now it's good that I have you. I'm always asking, can this person really? But yeah, he could. And and again, there was a family that was damaged. I think alcohol was at play. The wife was the enabler. He was drinking, and the son was kind of stepping up, which is typical in those families.
And going back to this, the son. He also mentioned Rob Jr. that he was in school as well, got pulled out to help his father, get kind of a similar scenario.
Right.
And he kept mentioning in the beginning, like, I wasn't signed up to do this. I offered to help. And
Right. And it sounds like as we piece it together, not the show, but we did our due diligence. It's the father had some other businesses, so it makes sense.
Right.
Like maybe, listen, I've got this one bar that's not making money. Can you come in and help me? And listen, I know the son was studying for an MBA, but come on, if someone hands you the keys to a bar and you're a guy, it's every guy's dream. You know,
I think so. If I had a family business that I could go into, I wouldn't hesitate.
You do bar.
I'd do it.
Yeah. So, and let me tell you, for most guys, now multiply that times 100, because that's like every guy's like fantasy, which is why we see so many bar rescue people run into trouble, because they're just living out their fantasy by buying a bar and then losing all their money because they don't know what to do.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to Recon. If you notice that they're really working hard to change up the show every week, do something new, something fresh, which I love. And this was great because there's no SUV. Normally we've got the SUV parked in front.
Yeah.
It's him and his two experts. But before we introduce his experts, he basically tells them, guys, just go get us 15 randoms. And a little background on the neighborhood. It's downtown Memphis.
Downtown, yep.
And they're about 300 feet away from where the action is. So they're
Beale Street.
So wherever that is, but I mean, it's like they're still close enough where they can do a good business. And out these guys go and recruit 15 people, and sure enough, the people all march in, and then Jon decides to sit with Rob Sr. and kind of do Recon with him. And usually when Jon does that, it's like that's going to be his ally for the whole show.
Right.
They're the person who's not part of the problem. But this is interesting because at first it starts out where, oh no, the problem's on Junior.
Right.
Because Junior's in the cigar bar, right, working on a very important $11 sale, right?
Yeah.
While the whole bar, no one's getting drinks.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Well, I like the approach. I like the different approach. I like to see him with the father instead of the experts doing that whole thing. But I knew they were going to flip it because I could tell that for him to say, oh, I would fire my son, it's like you took your son out of studying to come help you run the bar, and then you admit that you don't know how to run a bar. He doesn't know how to run a bar. Ultimately, I feel like that's going to lead to failure.
I didn't know if Jon was just going to go along with the dad. Be like, okay, we're old school, and it's the son.
But Jon, I know that he gives people a chance to talk. And when you see him talk, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, once the 15 people clear out and he gets the staff involved, you keep hearing the two bartenders go,
Yeah, they were great.
And you could tell that production maybe even added a couple of voice notes in to make it like, and then he turned to them and said, well, you two speak, and then they finally flipped this switch to know that the father...
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was a good approach. It kept us watching. It wasn't the same old experts come in, Jon yells, and shut it down, bring everyone. I liked it.
Well, whether you like it or not, what do you think of the son who's working on the $11 sale and not working on his on selling drinks?
I like that they said he was hiding in there, because he was.
He was hiding.
For somebody that has no experience and admitted to that,
He was afraid.
That was his safe zone, being in there talking about the cigars. He could probably sell an $11 cigar better than he could sell an $11 glass of Pinot Noir.
Yeah, he wouldn't know he wouldn't even know where to begin,
Right.
I'm sure.
Right.
And hiding, right, and we've all been there. Right, maybe not you, but we hide. I think you're right. He totally was hiding. But I also think, I don't know.
I've never hid from a sale.
I also think that this is a millennial thing too. We guys are just not prepared for anything, and it's not your fault. It's your parents' fault. Now you bucked the system at 18 to learn the trade of bartending, but you can see that he hasn't been taught anything. And as this episode unfolds, Jon pulls it out of him, both of them. That it's not his fault. He's not been taught anything.
Yes, I like when he says, because he says this a lot in different episodes, you're setting him up to fail.
Right.
And that's pretty good use of words, because it's true. And it must be hard on a parent, because I don't think any parent wants their child to fail. It's just proper parenting.
But they don't want it. They either don't want them in pain.
Right.
So they do everything to keep them in pain, or they're lazy themselves.
And they point to blame. You're going to blame it on the kid and not own up to anything.
Right. So it goes to get it to all that education takes time. And a lot of parents, I know a lot of bosses don't want to invest that time.
Or even invest in someone to help when you both can admit that you don't know what you're doing. bring on an expert. Pay them what, for 2 weeks to come in and train
A consultant, yeah.
Yeah.
That's out of the box thinking, though, but you're right. That's exactly what would need to happen. Well, as the experts, we have Jacob Forth, who's has cigar experience. They said he's a cigar expert, but then also we could see he's a mixologist.
I feel like they just said that.
They just said he's a cigar expert.
That's what I feel.
But he really can mix.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he knows a couple of cigars and knows how to pair a cigar, just like somebody knows how to pair food with a glass of wine. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Anthony Lamas, of course, we've seen him before. I think because of his Latino background, they brought him in knowing that this is supposed to be Cuban themed, when even though we're Cuban themed and some of the decor says Cuba, we have no limes and we're selling wings and fries.
I really can't
Even they
stand
started
when there's no limes or lemons. That's like my thing, because it really goes a long way.
Then you're not even a bar.
No.
How do you even call yourself a bar if you
There
don't
are
have
a lot
limes
of
and
bars
lemons?
with no limes and lemons.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
First thing in, you come and you slice your fruit, right?
I guarantee you, if you put fruit on your drink, you will get $1 more as a tip. I promise you.
Yeah.
Like even when I do these festivals, like, because I've worked in professional bars and other
And sometimes
things
do
too,
you just bring your own?
No, I'm not.
Right.
I hope that they do, but whenever they do, it takes a minute to get there. I'm like, I'll steal all the other bars, because if no one's using it, give me the limes, lemons, because it goes a long way. Would you like a lime with that?
It totally does.
It goes a long way.
So and we're selling wings and fries, which of course is not.
I think that was just for the culture. They didn't really think that one through.
No, but it was so funny when John called them out. Even they started laughing about it, which I thought was hilarious. They're
Funny.
like, "Yeah, that is kind of stupid." Like,
Yep.
It was great. John, we ends up having his first sit down with them. After like you said, he addressed him setting him up to fail rather than succeed. And it was interesting. I thought both the father and son made good points. Usually we're dealing with like punks. Someone's a punk in this, and the son was like, "You control every." And you could tell the father, for all of the great things I saw in him, I didn't see him as someone who would be so open to other people telling him how to do things.
Definitely.
I think
that comes from where his background as well. You can tell he's
smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, and then his son was always saying that a couple of times too,
Yeah.
that he's just stubborn. And the bartenders chimed in and said, anytime we offer you a new idea, you shoot it down. And then he contradicted that and said that he's welcome to.
And once again, we see, I thought, a very nice group of workers. Like when they get emotional over the place they work. That's just, I don't know.
You like
I always
that.
loved that. I love that because I don't think there's anything an employee can give you greater, honestly. When they love it as like it's theirs, it's there's no better compliment you can receive, and I can 99 out of 100 times you can work with that.
100%. I mean, I can say that like half the venues I've worked for, I felt that way. The other half, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, we need a reset with you. We need a reset.
Reset. But it's true. I mean, if you have a good place where there's good people, I feel like a lot of it depends on your team and your clientele. Otherwise you're not going to be
right. No, it is. If you have
are.
Vampire clientele,
Yeah.
which I've had before, oh my God.
You could work at a place where you make great money, but the clientele sucks, but you put on a happy face because you're going to walk out with a certain amount of money. But at the end of the day, in the long haul, you're probably going to go in there with a bad attitude because you hate the place.
Right.
So it is important to love where you're at and the people around you, who you're working for.
John said, this was an interesting quote that John said, "You're good at what you love, but you're not good about learning about what you don't love." And I think that was true.
That's good.
But I also thought, this is something that, no pun intended, this is a kind of a racy thing for me to say, but the minorities on Bar Rescue have been far more receptive, far more humble, far more grateful. Sorry to say, because I'm moderate, and I don't go either way, and but I will say that on this show, maybe because it's alcohol being involved, I see so much white people entitlement, where like it's like you give them the moon and the sun, and it's like, you fucked us. Like, what? Whereas the minorities, I'm just saying, have been typically, if I look back at some of the other bar rescues, they've been more like, hey, this guy's here to help us.
Yeah.
And it was hard for the son, because I said, I'm a grown ass man. I don't want to be yelled at by a man. It's hard as a male. It's so emasculating.
That he said yes, sir.
Well, I think the father made it raised him polite.
Very polite.
Yeah.
And you could tell. I just liked their dynamic, the father and son, even though you had to play it up that they didn't get along or see eye to eye because one was more. No,
by the way, I believe that. I think because I think the father was the man.
Yeah.
The son, who you would think would be the man, because look at him, he's gorgeous, he's probably a great athlete.
Yeah.
But I think the father was, you can see moments where he's the life of the bar, the life of the party. You can see it every time. Notice it's like, even Jon usually shuts a bar down.
Yes.
Not this episode.
No, he said
he shut it down.
He did.
We're gonna shut it down, people. We're gonna come back. Tell me. He's like, give me a hell yeah. Like
he cursed a lot. I loved that.
But he was. He's. You can see he's a bigger than life character. He's used to the spotlight.
Right.
And the son, usually sons would come out of there a little more shy, a little more quiet. And it was sweet. But the son, it's really hard. It's hard as a man to be yelled at by another guy. It's really hard. It takes a thick skin, to hold it together. We saw that last week, and I gave that really big guy so much credit. He took the beating.
The chef,
he went to walk out, but he came right back in. And again, he was, what a compliment, because he loved the business that much.
And then then Jon paid it forward to the chef jacket.
Yeah, and then you
so cute.
It's almost like you have a drill sergeant who's preparing you for battle, and afterwards,
yes, drill sergeant.
You would love you'd love the sergeant because he made you into a better man or a better person. But the crazy people, don't look at it that way. They're like, you just yelled at me.
From a personal experience, on a side note, so my father's having a little bit of trouble getting my brother to get like a more full-time job.
How old's your brother?
He's going to be 30 in October, and I was thinking, I'm like, well,
that's millennial 21. Tell your dad he's okay.
Yeah. Well, my dad's getting a little frustrated, but I said it, and I thought, well, maybe he needs an outside source. And my brother really looks up to DDP.
Oh.
Loves, like, DDP.
He's a friend of mine, Dallas Page.
He calls my brother on the phone. My brother's been sober now for a year and a half. He's, like, really made...
By the way, shout out to DDP. Like, just... God.
Shout out to DDP.
No, but he's just amazing.
Yeah, but he's kind of like Jon. They both are two big men that have... And they inspire a lot of people.
Yes.
And
they like to help people.
DDP can't come over to my father's house and get my brother out of bed and moving every day.
Right.
But I think my whole point was just Jon is...
Sometimes you need an outside force. So a parent or a partner or a husband or wife.
A brother. It's not...
too familiar. I get it. I know from my own relationship. You're 100% right. Let's talk about... do you notice how they're cutting down on the training, which I think is great?
Yes, but you think it's great. Why?
I like it. Okay, see, because I'm not.
That's my favorite part to watch.
I think because you're.
Up.
Oh well, no. Well, the stress test. Oh, you like the.
No, after the stress test, it's very quick. Oh, we're gonna make this new drink and do food. I like seeing a little bit more of that. I feel
you
like
wanted to see more than even this one.
Yeah,
we saw they were lame. You wanted to see they were more lame.
Yes, it kind of entertains me.
All right.
Well, how do you make a Manhattan? Come on.
All right, well, listen. You guys who are watching on YouTube, please send us your comment. You tell us if you'd like to see more of the training. I wonder if it's because you're a bartender, so you want to see that. I wonder if the public wants to see it or see less of it. Let us know also.
Why do you like less of it, though, real quick?
It gets a little boring to me.
Okay.
Because it's every week, because they're going to screw up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's like,
so
all right,
it's okay.
Let's not embarrass them too much.
If someone does okay, it's not even that. It's just, but you know what? I don't mind it that much. What really was getting to me is when they create the new drink menus and the new dishes. Now they're doing them so compressed. I like that better.
You do.
Yes,
but
again,
with this turbo chef thing that they're putting.
Well, we'll get there, won't we?
Yes.
Well, listen. If you are watching us on YouTube, please comment any questions you have for us. We take them. Any criticisms, we'll take them as well. If you're listening, then you would more than likely be at iTunes. And if you are, please rate and subscribe and leave a comment. And either way, as ignorant Bostonians say, irregardless, tell a friend. Okay, so moving on to the stress test. Every time that there's going to be a mistake, we're going to put a cigar in a glass bowl for failure. Okay, which I love. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Probably John's idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He always comes up with those. Fryer. I loved how the fryer just it was one of those. It was one of those old tabletop fryers. So I know because I used to work with 10 years in the carny business with fryers, but it's not made for. It's literally made for one order one very small order at a time.
Right.
Maybe even one an hour.
In these last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to what they did with the kitchen, which I thought was really smart. But we see basically like they can't put out food. The cooler's leaking so bad, the girl's sliding around. You could just tell that they've never really had capacity.
She wasn't wearing sneakers.
Exactly. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah,
come on, John. But John didn't even point that out. That would have been fun to see on the show.
You know what's interesting? I don't think we ever have.
Talk about attire?
We need to mention to John. No, I don't think any shows ever said that there's a proper shoe to wear.
You are not allowed to wear sandals behind the bar. Ever. Would you
Never.
want me to serve you with open toes?
First of all, let me tell you, there's so many other things. It's okay, fine. I don't want you with open toes, but okay. But also, like, you're not using your toes to pick up the food, and you're not touching your toes. But here's my bigger thing.
Okay.
Is danger.
Yeah.
And so even on a film set, how much crap I would get when I would say, as a director, I'd be like, no, you gotta come on.
Totally. But if you drop a glass,
and there's always some smart aleck remark. I'm like, I've just seen on construction. I saw a guy lose 3 toes so quickly.
Ouch.
Didn't have the proper things on and was just, it's LD, light duty. It was light duty day. I don't care, but yeah, that's a really good point. I want to point that out to Bar Rescue because I've never heard them address that, but you are 1,000% right.
Yeah.
Gotta have the right shoes.
And then it's leaking all over her feet.
Well, I think that they've never had capacity. They think it's a few drinks here, a few drinks there, we're all good. But when they actually had to have capacity, this place is not ready for it. Not a bad looking bar.
And that wasn't even anything to make it more interesting. That probably actually happened. And then thank God that guy got the shot of her feet.
Lately I've been pulling John's quotes. When he does, it's almost like the Bar Rescue superlatives. He said, this is the most physically disabled bar in the history of Bar Rescue.
He says that a lot.
Right? So you think, okay. See, I hold him to this stuff.
That's okay. He can repeat his lines.
Well, listen, it was just, here's the thing. He may have been right because it was disabled to the point that they could not do business. So, they couldn't sell food and one of the bartenders was going to get hurt eventually. So, as we said, Rob Sr. comes and shuts it down, which is great. And they said the jar filled up fast, which is no surprise.
That the patrons were starting to fill it up.
Yeah.
They were getting it.
Well, but it was interesting too. Like even the patrons were kind of cool because when they said who here, they kind of polled them and half of them were like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't so bad.
Right. No, I saw that too.
Which was cool. All right. So now we move on to the planning phase and, John's got the blueprint, with his 2 experts. And, I liked how they address the fact that we are in a cigar bar. There's tons of smoke around. You really don't want to have a filet mignon, right? You don't want
I think it was smart to do what they did.
Right, small bites, perfect. Just
love small bites.
Right,
I'm such a tapas girl.
Yeah,
what about you?
No, I'm
at
old
the
school.
Bar. You'll have.
I'm an animal. I want to eat like a savage.
Fair enough.
And also,
when it comes to bar food,
look at your dad. I'm a total Italian male. You know what I mean? Like, no, let me just, I'm all in. Oh, your mom's the guinea.
They both are.
So think of your grandfather.
They both are. They love big. The reason I love tapas at a bar is because.
You're right. No, it's better. I just already said I'm a savage. I'm a degenerate. But yes, for today, little finger bites. You're right. You guys also.
You're the kind of guy that goes to Dantana's that sits at the bar and orders your big meal.
Nachos, the whole scam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I gotta. Yeah. But you're right. Finger foods for everyone else. You also, millennials don't drink as much either.
They don't?
No, drugs. You guys are more into drugs.
Really?
Yeah. Because, well, think about it. Most of your friends don't go out till 11 o'clock at night, right? They really go to a bar at 7.
Most of my friends are in New York. So, yes, they don't go out till 11. Now, my friends
But
in
you're
LA,
right.
we go out at 9.
Nice.
Because everything closes at 2.
That's, I mean, but okay, because you're probably East Coast, but the kids that I know out here, they're all out at 11, and I'm like, the place closes at 1.
Really?
How do you even get going?
I feel like I like to go out around 9 or 10 because
So
by
you're 10, now we're
12:30
pushing.
I'm drunk.
Right. So you're good. Okay.
Yeah.
But talk to New York and Boston back in the day. It was like out at 7 and till 3 in the morning, then Chinese food, then fist fights, and go to bed. All right. Anyway, here's the thing. We have the traditional bar rescue sit down. You know, that's kind of become traditional. Where Jon goes to Rob Sr.'s house and sits and talks with the family. Nice house. Yeah, nice right? House. You could see he was successful.
Is.
Yeah.
I mean, that just because that one bar was failing and now probably is not, doesn't mean those other 3 that he owns wasn't doing very well.
But we get to know more.
Yeah.
We get to know that Rob Jr. had open heart surgery when he was 10. And, you know, the father even admitted his own. Did you hear the father admitted? He was a small kid. He had a speech impediment. He had no father. So he was empathetic to other people's pains too because he'd been through a lot. It was just, I just thought it was interesting, you know.
And then the note.
Yeah, the letter that the son wrote.
I advise anytime you're in a pickle, write a nice note. You know?
Yeah.
Besides the emails and stuff. I mean, like a note and then reading it out loud to someone, I feel like that's such a good way to get something off your chest and really, instead of like just sitting down like, all right, let's talk. That way you have all your thoughts down and
right. It's clean, it's concise,
more genuine
and personal.
I thought it was really sweet.
I did too.
I shed a tear at that part too.
Well, it wasn't just, hey, Dad, I love you and I love you, son. It was, I love you. And he said, I just need you to trust me. Trust yourself. Because you raised me.
Yeah.
So trust what you did for me growing up.
Yes.
That now I can do this. It was beautiful. And Rob Sr. said to Jon, you know, he gave Jon Taffer credit for getting him to look inside himself.
Yeah. And that's what he's done with a lot of these people.
With a lot of these people, but unfortunately a lot of them don't see that. You know, so it was really a beautiful scene. It was great to see. We have the rebuild. I like when we should see Jon in the renovations and you see
him.
Oh, how much he's micromanaging. Totally. The look.
I like that I think he does this with most of them, right? He takes local construction companies to help, and sometimes it's his own.
Whatever production can figure out, but he's the, you know,
eyes
orchestrating
and ears, the whole operation.
And, I mean, you could see he was like, no, that color, this needs to be a matching color, that needs to be, you know, it's like unbelievable.
It's awesome. I would love to like help him out for a day.
You know what?
Maybe
that could happen.
Maybe
I've done 4 of them now.
Yeah.
So you'll have to. Hopefully, the next time there's ones and
just keep sending pizza to the studio.
That's all you have to do. We'll send it to Jon
or Jon.
Okay, we go to the reveal. Robusto, the new bar.
Let me just say one thing real quick.
Please.
It didn't look that different from the outside. The sign was classy.
You know why
nice.
though? You know why? You could tell there's not much you could do.
Right.
Because for legal reasons, I could tell you couldn't touch a building. However, I have. And you haven't done the show long enough to know, but the only knock that I would ever have on the renovations is the signs. Sometimes because they only have a couple of days to make the signs, or the landlords will not allow, or the towns won't allow certain signs.
Right.
Sometimes we get cheap ass signs, and I hate it.
This
sign was beautiful. This was neon. This was awesome.
If you look at how it looked before outside as well, it was kind of too much going on. They had the flag that said cigars and all these different things. So it looked a lot cleaner and neater. I just wanted something in the windows, but probably.
I don't think they can.
Right.
I don't think they can, because look
at
last week,
yeah,
right?
with last
was
week.
Genius.
That was creative.
So creative.
Really cool.
When he did the shutters, we're talking about, reference to last week's episode. Jon put signs on the shutters, so when he opened and closed them, it would reveal whatever messaging he wanted.
Very cool.
With this, though, this beautiful, gorgeous neon sign, which I thought was lovely. And then once you go inside, I feel like he made it. Rather than like, are we a Cuban bar that sells cigars? Now he went all in and said, we are a cigar lounge. That's what we are. Bless you.
Thank
We
you.
are a cigar lounge. Come on in, have a cocktail, smoke your cigar.
Yeah.
So we have the leather seats.
Keep it classy.
We
Keep
have
it simple.
Great woodwork.
Yeah. I like the black too, because black can be kind of uninviting, but because it was black and wood and
Moody.
I liked it.
Yes. Yeah, I did too. And then the Turbo Chef that you mentioned earlier.
It's just so.
Have you ever seen those?
It's so weird to me. I don't know why.
Well, so
what if it breaks down? You're doomed.
Well, here's the thing. So it's basically a fryer later, but in the turbo way. So it even cooks it faster and healthier.
Okay.
It's great. I mean, like it is for this kind of bar. It's your best friend. For not a bar that's going to pump out a ton of meals.
Yeah.
But a place like this, your best friend.
Hey, at least they hired a chef too. They needed an extra hand
That's
in there.
right. Well, they needed someone.
And then now they have the girl helping out in the back with food too.
And then not only do we get the update, but when we get an update and it's the person makes a video, we know we're in really good shape.
Right.
So Big Rob lets us know by video. Drink sales are up 26%. And again, he's totally showboating. I'm telling you, like this guy.
I loved. How did you like his suit?
I loved it. Oh, the renovation suit, his suit was amazing.
Yeah,
I wanted one.
I also got to give credit to the bartender uniform because it was black with like a brown belt, and it matched the interior, and it wasn't like super lame with a logo here. I thought it was
nice.
Whoever thought that up.
That's John. No, that's all John.
You think John did that?
I know
loved
so.
it.
No, everything.
I loved it.
Everything goes by John. Everything. So a successful rescue. I went to Bar Rescue updates. We'll be going to the news shortly. We went to Bar Rescue updates, and almost all the reviews were positive. So
awesome.
This was really a great example of a rescue, and I think things will continue to go well because he does own many bars. This guy's just
it's in a really good location too. If you looked on the map, and he had like a basketball, like 2 sports stadiums on either side. So, and then you got the busy street, Beale Street, and then it's good to be on a corner because it's away from the noise, but you're still
close enough
in the neighborhood. It's good. It's good for, I think, different crowds too. Whether you've got your classy crowd that just wants to come have a good cocktail, or your older gentleman that just wants to come have a little cigar.
I think we'll be seeing Rob Senior at Bar Rescue updates for sure. I mean, for not Bar Rescue updates, for the Back to the Bars. He's going to be a friend of Bar Rescue. He's too amazing.
Yeah.
So all right, let's do some Bar Rescue news, and then we'll do predictions for next week. Do it.
Okay. So we've got Dominique Wilkins of the NBA, former NBA star with the Atlanta Hawks. He is known as the human highlight reel or film.
No,
I don't know.
Human
Either
highlight
way.
reel, please.
Real. Someone said film in what I read on loud.com. But anyway, so he is a partner with Rob Sr. and
on another business.
Yep. It's at a new place in Atlanta.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the place, but the other 2 businesses in or near Memphis, one's the Burning Desire Cigar Emporium, and the other is in South Haven, Mississippi, and that's called the Cigar Haven.
Interesting. Well,
hence that beautiful brick house.
One time I will tell you, I don't know Nick personally, but one time we were in a hotel lobby. My room was next to his, and we just bumped into each other. And then we just got into like a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
It was amazing. We talked about the NBA. We talked about, it was really, really cool. And then, and we actually exchanged numbers, but I just wanted to leave it at that, Nicole. Nothing to do with Bar Rescue, but I wanted to leave it at that. All right, what else we got?
And then about 2 years ago, we had, is it Soho?
Soho.
Soho.
So, is it so?
It's Soho.
Soho?
Soyo.
Oh, yeah, Soyo. Okay.
In Yonkers is now closed. That was in, when was that?
I think
2 years ago, so that's 2016 that they renovated that bar.
I think the episode
and it was
Thugs
crazy.
and something in Thugs.
And they got in a fight. Remember, it was nuts.
So dangerous. It actually changed the courts of Bar Rescue because John finally got security.
One of the cameramen was like hurt.
When I first met, I think I met John after season 1 or 2, and I said, John, they have got to hire you security. This is not good. People are drinking and it's hostile and you're yelling.
Crazy. And you're in Yonkers.
And this was after this experience is he got everything he wanted finally.
So it sold.
They sold it.
for $150,000, and it's now called Kalan Mule. It's Hawaiian.
Oh, nice.
Kalaan Mule. And it was taken over in January.
All right.
I looked it up on Facebook.
Okay,
It's got some good reviews.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like this came up on my Google alert last week, and the way it came up was like, another bar rescue bar closes. It's like, no, they sold the bar. John polished a turd and made it so it could be sold, and now it got sold. And the owners were saying that it was more the clientele and the neighbors that ruined it. Like they kept getting in trouble outside the bar, like literally out in front of the bar.
Because it was still a sports bar. Maybe that's why it went wrong. Because now
it's
this
in a
is
rough
like
neighborhood. They might, who knows? They may even have rough friends. I don't know. But they said they loved the experience. They had a lot of up and downs.
Yes.
But like, listen, they got to sell. They didn't close. It's one thing when you close,
right?
But when you're able to sell, believe me, you're good.
Yes.
All right, what else we got?
Then we have a bar owner in Katy, Houston. That's John Whitfield, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I did wrong. His bar called Wild Catter Saloon was hit by Harvey, right? That's Hurricane Harvey in Houston.
Yes.
And Bar Rescue was supposed to help him yet again rescue this bar because they did actually help him rescue another bar.
They rescued. That's right. I remember him from another episode.
So they pulled the plug on rescuing this bar because John got sick and they couldn't, with production timing and everything like that, follow through. And they did start filming. I guess they started filming for about like 4 weeks. They shot at John's home, and he was emotional on camera, said that in an article.
Not Jon Taffer, John the bar owner.
Right, John.
The
John
bar owner
W.
of this bar.
And so they started so they had to cancel it, unfortunately, and not go through with the renovation. And it's funny because this guy named John Whitfield said that he would never appear on another show again because of the way it was just like too harsh. But then he agrees to do it again.
Well, I think if this is the same guy, I think he reached out to me on Twitter because a lot of people think because I do the after show here at AfterBuzz, they actually think I work for Bar Rescue. So it's so funny. Like even when I'm out in public, I will get recognized for Bar Rescue over so many other things I've done.
That's awesome.
But the bad thing is, I don't have a say. I'm going to try to make this as clear as I can without having spoken to John or Three Ball. They put together a calendar, and the calendar's crazy. Like no sane individual could do this. These 5-day rescues onto the next city, 5-day rescues, and oftentimes, your rescues are taking place out in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like you have 4 or 5-star hotels or amenities.
Correct.
And again, when you're an older person, it's like it's hard. It's hard to live like a gypsy.
Right.
And that's pretty much what John has had to do, and as well as the staff. That being said, everything's so tight. When we've got bars locked in, let's say Kentucky and Boston, and they're locked, and these people have been pre-interviewed, and dates are set, and flights are booked. So John gets pneumonia. Yeah. So they started on this renovation. They interviewed this guy, from what I understand. Said
told him to stop fixing. I think that was his big thing.
Allegedly told them to
stop fixing your house.
Don't fix anything because we're going to come in, we're going to film it, we're going to fix it.
Right.
And then John gets deathly ill. He gets pneumonia.
Pneumonia is no joke.
No. And again, at 60 years old, that's not, and again, I'm always worried about John's health. Yeah. Always. And I always say to him, like, the only thing is that you have to worry about now is your health. Your career is colossal, and it's just now whatever you can do to be healthy. He has a private plane now, so he can fly in and out of these better. But still, it's a grind. It's a real tough grind. So he's sick during this period, and unfortunately, it's not like they can tell all those other productions, let's push up a week. Okay, we're not coming on the 20th. We're going to now come on the 28th.
Sometimes you got to and it's not like he never helped him before.
And remember, like, it's not John's show.
Right.
So it's not like he has the power to say, oh no, Spike or Paramount, we're going to halt all production because I need to go back and, he's only going to go where he's told to go. Right. Now, Jon is the type that will stand his ground, and he's not going to let anyone tell him what to do. But he's also a reasonable businessman. He's under contract. Like, that's not his call. So I understand what happened. I don't. He just, again, texts and quotes often can be seen and taken out of context. He seems very angry and very aggressive. I don't think that's the way to handle it. I think, but educate us on what's going on, and I'm sure Jon would consider, tacking it on. I mean, I know it would be late, and it's probably a day late and $1 short because the person's maybe had to already put the time into fixing the bar.
Right.
But these things happen, So and does that make sense to you now that I tell you that?
It does. I'm just gonna. I don't even know if this is playing devil's advocate or not, but I'm also just going to say, like, he got help once before. The bar was called Houston Sports Hub.
Yes.
So it's like, let the other people get a chance. He got sick. The timing was bad. It does stink that they also told him to hold off on construction, but you do have a community around you. You do have Jon that might throw you a bone and help you out, maybe not with filming the show, but in some way.
Right.
So we'll stay tuned with that one.
So we will, okay.
Real quick before we wrap, because this is actually a really good one.
Okay.
So Corona is putting out a new drink in almost 3 decades called Corona Premium, and Jon went on Fox News and said it's because millennials are about relevancy, and a premium beer catches our desire, and poorly reviewed beer is cool. So I'm going to agree with Jon, because in my day, even though I'm still a millennial, Natty Ice was cool, and that's not a good beer.
There's reasons why millennials will walk by older brands to go to a Chipotle, or it's the same thing. Yeah. So it's really very smart, very wise. I mean, Bud Light to me that's the model everyone should study, because it's now bigger than Bud. But the bottle, the blue bottles,
dilly.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been good with their campaigns, but they now way outsell Bud. So it's very interesting. All right, very, very cool news for the week. Quickly, let's just go to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, we're gonna get half wackadoodles next week.
Half.
These guys are scientists.
Yeah.
And
they look so nerdy and fun. I love it.
Right, and I can't wait to see Jon have to deal with, because listen, Phil Svitek, who runs this place, has this kind of mind, and how they see things and how you have to communicate with them is always a challenge. But a high-end one, a high-price challenge. What we say, what is it, high-end problems? But anyway, no, this is going to be, I have a funny feeling these guys made their money they went to MIT, did something in computers or invented something, and let's open a bar. And now it's,
I love it.
Yeah, anyway, I think next week is going to be hella good time, lots of fun. Nicole, where do we find you?
You can find me at Nicole Brajer all over social media, and hopefully at Coachella VIP. Maybe I'll see some of you millennials there.
Okay, wait. So when you go to Coachella, there's going to be tons of tents, right? I mean, it's not like there's one.
Yes, but there's a VIP section with only 3 bars. So
period for all of Coachella.
So Peaks too.
All right. If I ever went, which I won't, I would be at that one. So
yeah,
you
should come.
I should.
Guarantee you and MM can score some tickets.
She went. No, she went one year. I think she went to see Guns N' Roses. Did they play Coachella?
They have.
Yeah, that's why she went.
Coachella is not that cool anymore, but we do got Beyonce The Weeknd and Eminem, so we're changing it up a little, commercializing it for the millennials.
You know what, Nicole? I think too many humans for Uncle Kev. But you know what? I'm going to leave it to you, and you're going to come back with photos.
Maybe next week I could make a cool cocktail. We could call it the AfterBuzz
you know what?
TV
No,
cocktail.
nice, because I have the Tomorrow Show tonight. Please tune in, you guys. But in the meantime, yes, bring me a nice cocktail to loosen me up for the Tomorrow Show next week. I would love that. Something, well, I'll leave it up to you because you're a mixologist.
Do you like raw egg? Egg whites?
Egg whites are fine. Raw egg, you kind of threw me on that one. But listen.
Egg whites in a cocktail makes the ultimate cocktail.
I'm going to leave it up to you.
Okay.
That's a good way to end. At Undergaro, at the Tomorrow Show. You guys, we'll be back next week with more Bar Rescue After Show. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.